Ah, yes, yes, yes. Sorry for that delay. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you people. Good morning. Good morning. This is a spirit journey. How are we today? Yes, I hope all is well. Um, yeah, I was just watching a video. Uh, I'm new to this particular channel. An Asian lady, and very interesting. I don't find many Asian channel, East Asian YouTube channels. And this one is like a Gothic lady, what do you call it, East Asian phenotype, dressed in Gothic themes. And I had watched so far two of her videos. Yes, good morning, you viewers out there. I see we have a viewer. Um, yeah, I think this is going to be a very interesting live stream. Yes, today is, what's it today? I think, today is Wednesday, December 3, 2025. And what time is it? I gotta see what time is it. Hold on a moment. Oh, okay, it's 6:40. Oh, you can't see it. It's oops, how to do it? Yeah, can't see it. Yeah, it's 6:43, 6:44 a.m. Yes, what a beautiful day out the window. Yes, I love early morning here in beautiful, beautiful Rwanda. Um, yeah, I want to talk about something. I might have talked about it before. I hope the audio is okay. Well, let me just jump right in. I was watching a new YouTube channel, and I thought the video was really interesting. And the thumbnail, I'm using a thumbnail from a screenshot from her channel. And she's a gothic lady, very gothic. Um, she wears all these, these outfits that have this dark edge to it. I've never seen anything like it before. And I'm very curious about international stuff, people from all over the world. I like to learn about different types of people, different foods, things like that. Even though I come from a big city, from New York City, and I've always been around since junior high school, people from Asia, East Asia. Very nice people, I think, overall. I've always got along with them in school. And, but I really didn't know a lot, and going on social, we call the internet, I really don't find many East Asian people. But you will find them on, we call it the mukbang. I can't even pronounce the word, but you know what I'm talking about. The mukbang, when you sit in front of the camera and you eat and talk. They have it down packed. They're the best at that, those eating videos. I haven't seen anyone that could outdo them. But either way, I want to talk about a potentially very serious matter. I want to talk about like a identity. Who do you really know certain people? Yep, and when I was watching the video from that lady, and she talked about Philippine uh, politics, a recent incident that happened in the Philippines. I think, what's it? It could be even this year or last year. Um, a woman, Asian-looking woman, you know, she ran for mayor in the Philippines, in some town in the Philippines, and I think she won. People started investigating, and I think like in anything, when you have someone who, she was popular, this mayoral candidate, she was intelligent, she was in her 30s, early 30s, I think, and she spoke Tagalog, and she coincidentally also spoke Mandarin Chinese. And but like she said that her you know that she's Filipino, a Filipina, I guess in this case, Filipina. And but as they started digging, they just were curious about who she is. Of course, you run for public office. People gonna want to research you, find out who you are. That's a natural thing. You becoming popular. You're the new fresh face. Well, everything seemed to fall apart. They just asked, okay, who are your parents? And that's where things just didn't make sense. And what school did you go to? That was a problem. So, oh, I was homeschooled. And she couldn't provide the people who, like when you're homeschooled, it's like an institution. You apply online for something, their parents apply, okay, I'm going to pay for this thing. Homeschooling is not free, those official classes that you do online. She couldn't provide any information. But it turned out that her parents, were very affluent Chinese nationals. Hear that? Chinese nationals. And no, this is not an anti Chinese video. No, I like Chinese people. Yeah, I grew up with them since since junior high school. Yeah, nice people, junior high school. And yeah, I had a friend from China. And yeah, went over our house, went to school together. We went to, she invited me ice skating. She was into ice skating. Nice lady, I remember her. Her name was Wei Jin. Wei Jin or Wei Jin. And well, either way, she did this person that this video is about, and not just that person running for mayor of a Philippine town, but just questions about everything. And then things really, really started unraveling regarding this woman's background. They couldn't, people in the town that she was to represent as mayor, people say, we don't know her. Who is she? She came out, all that. Yeah. Turned out her parents had money, had multiple businesses, and they were all China. They were from China. And she had businesses too. She was affiliated with the businesses. And she was um, trying to, they do a lot of gambling. You have people who open up these online gambling. And in America, when I lived in America, I, at one time, I'm sorry, I might be catching a little cold or something. Yeah, I'm a little stuffy and my throat is a little, so I apologize for that. I'm sorry. But either way, yeah, I used to live around the corner from Chatham Square in New York City, in Manhattan. Yeah, I like Chinatown. They got a lot of products in Chinatown, man. Um, yeah, I used to live there, and yeah, I lived in a place, and yeah, I remember that you had people, uh, men who did a lot of drinking, and in the evening they were trying to bust into the residence that I lived in. So a two-story townhouse type of thing. Yeah, and yeah, it's something when in America, um, you would learn about different people, ethnicities, and stuff like that. And in the United States, back in the day, you know, uh, 20, 30, 40 years ago. There's very positive things about people from that background living in your town. They're quiet, they're hardworking. That was the image that they projected. And the media would never show any negativity regarding Chinese nationals or East Asians, Southeast Asian nationals or ethnicities. They never. They probably just focused on black people, that black people are dangerous or criminals or steal and all that. That's what it was. So when you learn of something from people from, Asia, um, you kind of like are curious because you never hear anything negative. The media holds all that information and just focuses on certain groups. So I'm sorry for the noise in the background. Yeah. Sorry about that. Every that happens virtually every morning. Some of the people, they are doing their chores right now. I apologize for the noise in the background if you hear it. So anyway, you will hear about when you hear about news about Asia, Asian individuals, East Asian in particular. um, my antenna goes up in curiosity about what could possibly be wrong. And so, as you see in the thumbnail of this live stream, I took a screenshot from this new YouTuber. I'm new to this particular YouTuber of Asian ancestry, and her work is very interesting. So she has a gothic edge, as I mentioned earlier, and she talks about things about Asia. Uh, And so this one was about this particular woman that ran for mayor in the Philippines, and it turned out she was a Chinese spy. You heard me right. This young woman in her early 30s infiltrated Philippine now in custody. Yeah, she tried to run away. And because everything was unraveling, and they realized this is not even a Filipino national, but a Chinese national, Chinese parents. Um, she was getting involved in businesses, shady businesses. Yeah, what I'm learning about, what's happening, that in Southeast Asia, there there is a criminal enterprise of human trafficking, and they human traffic them and they force them in these facilities. It's like what do you call it? An industrial park that these humongous sized buildings in remote areas in Southeast Asia where they kidnap and lure people there, and then they enslave them. Yeah, I'm going to use the term slaves. Modern newscasters use the word human traffic, but I use the word slavery, human slavery. When you're being lured or kidnapped and forced to do work without pay, they beat you and they starve you. That is slavery. Slavery is not just a black person from Africa with a chain and collar on their neck, their ankles, and their wrists. Slavery is the um, forced work upon an individual, and they are absent of all rights, all legal rights. They have no legal rights, basically. They have no pay and a lot of coercion is done. That is slavery, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is modern day slavery, and I say it like that, being from a heritage of people who were kidnapped from Africa, was started 500 years ago. Yeah, they try to say that the slavery kind of started in 1619. Well, that's just what was documented entering into what's now known as the United States of America. But no, slavery, the transatlantic slave trade actually started in the 1400s, before Columbus entered the Americas. It was already uh, on its way. By the time it hit what we know as America, it was already established for over 100 years. 100 years, over 100 years. So I just want to put that in perspective. But yeah, you have modern day slavery, and you have people who run these massive, massive enterprises where they get people and they're forced to call people and take the money away in these scams. I was shocked. This is the second time I heard about these scams in Southeast Asia, the headquarters, and they force people, primarily very young people, to call up, like they use the ladies for love interests in particular. If you're a pretty woman, not just they're not just using Asian people. They recruited this Russian girl, yeah, and this YouTuber I utilizing the screenshot of the video. The first video I saw of hers was about a Eastern European woman, young lady who wanted to be a model. She was well liked, and she received a scam thing over the internet. They contact her and says, "Oh, you're very promising. We like to utilize you in Asian modeling. The field of modeling in Asia. We'd like you to come over." And she went, and that was a scam. They kidnapped her. They took her passport from her, and they kept her in captivity, and they forced her to do things, to lure men, because, she was a model, pretty white girl from Eastern Europe, and, well, they unalived her. They unalived her, and they used her organ. They sold her organs, her body organs, on the black market. Yes. And this is evil. This is evil, evil, evil. Yeah, I felt this was important to share, because this is beyond my understanding. And it goes against my paradigm system about Asia, about East Asia in particular, East Asia, Southeast Asia type people, and the evils that are going on, the evils of human trafficking / modern day slavery. They're forcing women to be sex pots, honey pots, I should say, to lure men on the internet, to have them, "Oh, I love you. Oh, could you give me money?" And, oh, one excuse after another. And to milk these rich people blind. And all these other scams also. And it's at what do you call it, a work pool. You have a large room with people they got computers, and they do all this illicit stuff, and they're building more of these centers, these business centers of modern day corralling human beings. They're starving them, beating them with this metal pole, they said. This is evil. And when they shut down, when the authorities shut down one center, they're building up others. They show like Google Earth. They have cameras and they see what's happening. And they're not doing anything really. These people are so powerful. And a lot of um, these businesses are run by China. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at this because I mean I'm very fond of people from China, and I love Chinese fast food takeout in particular. Oh yes. But see, I'm thinking now, my mind is like really thinking about things. Like I start to wonder where I'm from in America, in New York City. You have a lot of these Asian stores that pop up in these fancy, high rent areas in New York City. They're always done very nicely, you know. And after during COVID, a lot of American businesses shut down, but who replaced them were these East Asian phenotype people and in these really trendy Asian eatery places. And I'm starting to wonder how they're able to afford the rent. And somehow they just thrive, thrive, thrive. And the other thing I'm seeing, let me just sit up a little bit. Oh, the other thing I notice, and I talked about this before, the schools in New York City, somehow in the Ivy League schools, I'm not going to mention the name, but they're in New York City in Manhattan. Somehow, when you go walk on campus, around campus, you see all these people of East Asian phenotype people. And somehow the about what looks like about half or more of the people who are going to these schools are international students from Asia. Yeah, yes, it does cost more. See, also it's a moneymaker. See, if you start to get um, foreign students enrollment, there's a different rate of pay for tuition. It's a lot more. So again, it's an incentive to bring in money into these private schools, these private universities, and you pay prime dollar to go in. So it's money making, but you just start wondering how. I mean, it's like all of a sudden, and 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 it seems like they don't go back home after they get their degree. They get jobs in America. And they even get jobs at the uh, government offices. And somehow they get um, to run departments at these American government um, institutions. I'm not going to even give the name of which one I'm thinking about. It's like out of the blue, boom. It's like everything. And again, it's not being anti Asian. I'm just noticing trends. That's all I'm talking about. The different trends, the different things that you see. Like if you see apples one day all your life, and then boom, you get a banana. And that's all you see, bananas. And you wonder what's going on. Why the taste now for bananas? You have all other fruits. You got kiwis, you got pineapple, You got everything. You got grapes, but all of a sudden there's a switch. What made the switch? Well, I'm thinking again about the this YouTuber that is, she's of Asian ancestry. Her phenotype is East Asian, and I watched two of her videos so far, and I just subscribed to her because I thought her work was very interesting. She has a gothic edge to her that I've never seen that in an Asian person, and I like things that are different. I'm curious about things that are different, and so what's happening, people, for this? How it sounds like it sounds like a make believe. How could someone who's not a national of a particular country running for mayor, they came out of the blue in 2018. They arrived in 2018 and they arrived from China. Her parents are rich people with multiple businesses. She's not some peasant from the Philippines. She's trying to pass herself out as some, local Filipina. And no, she was a Chinese national. And they did the investigation. And I wrote on there that this YouTuber's channel when I was watching the video that I did the screenshot of. I said, who does this remind you of? This reminds me of Obama, the former president of the United States of America. And yes, I voted for Obama. I did. 95% of the black community in America voted for Obama. Yeah, I remember when I voted for him. Now, he was not my first choice. I didn't really care for, he wasn't interesting to me. Very bland, very, oh, change. Um, that's not interesting to me. But at the time, at the voting booth, the candidate I wanted to vote for, they were not listed on the ballot. And I felt forced to make a decision. So I said, look, I know who's going to win. So let me just vote for him and hope for the best. And that's what happened. And I remember I went to bed later on that night. And then in the morning, when I got up, I watched the videos with Obama and his wife and alleged children came out on stage. I cried. I cried. I was so happy. I said, oh, finally America is going to be doing well. No, no. Because, again, Obama has an Asian ties. And it's iffy about where he's actually from. And then they started name calling, the Obama supporters started calling people who questioned where he's from as birthers. Birthers, all these birthers. No, it's not. You better open your eyes. Now again, um, I voted for Obama with good intentions. And you assume the people who are running for office, especially black people in America, we all hoped for the best. We were all hoping for him, wishing the best. And we put our trust in him. And then slowly people started asking questions. It's okay. You're the new kid on the block. Remember when he was speaking at a convention thing? He was what we call it, the guest note speaker. And I said, wow, who is he? Wow, he's getting a lot of attention. And different things that he was doing. He published an autobiography, right? But slowly things just didn't seem to add up. his own grandmother, his African grandmother, said publicly that he was born in Kenya. What, he has a lying mother, grandmother. His grandmother's a liar. His grandma say he was born in Kenya, but they claim that he was actually born in Hawaii. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know. And they got what's supposed to be a birth certificate, but it was faulty. If I presented a birth certificate like that, I'll probably be locked up for passing fraudulent papers just because you like somebody in office. You want someone who's telling you the truth. We all favored Obama, but it just reminded me of him learning about this woman who ran for mayor in the Philippines, presenting herself as a local girl. There's no record of her in school. Uh, they asked her about it. Oh, she's homeschooled, but they can't provide anything of her homeschooling. Nothing. Her parents, she lied about her parents' identity, nationality. And when they investigated, they said, hey, they're Chinese. And then they got copies of, excuse me, let me get a little bit of water, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. They got a copy of her fingerprints. And lo and behold, her fingerprints ran positive for a Chinese national. Well, that was too much for her, this woman in question. And she tried to run away. Yep, she ran away from the Philippines and tried to hide out in Asia, so she'll blend in, At least she has enough sense to stay in locations where people sort of look like her. Well, what they did, they canceled her passport and her relatives who tried to flee also. They were forced to go back to the Philippines where they arrested her, So now she's waiting for trial. And I'm also reminded, like when I'm thinking about that, a lot of things are happening right in front of your eyes, people. And again, this is not an anti-Chinese rant. No, 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 no. They could have been from any nationality. And I'm just trying to bring light to this because do you really know the people who you associate with? Do you really know the people that you vote for in politics? You just assume that these people are who they say they are. But it just seems like that's not what's happening now in current day politics. And I'm even seeing things that, let me tell you this. So, you know, um, I think it's getting so bad, that people, could some of these spies uh, be maybe trying to marry into your family? I kid you not. I I know of my suspicion about this particular matter that I kind of heard about. And this person started dating this guy, this American guy. Very intelligent man, young man, did well in school, very social. And this person found a new love in his life. And I'm not going to name who this person is, But hearing the story reminds me that he was honeypotted. Yes, I think this person was honeypotted by a Chinese national. And it's like they had just met, and he's head over heels with this woman, young woman. She's new in America, very new. Yeah, she went to college, I think, here in America. And somebody, met this American, and this American man is infatuated and can't stop thinking about this woman and head over heels in love. And he didn't know what to do. So what did he do? He married her. She don't have to leave. She don't have to leave America now. But I think in some places, if you could prove that this person had tricked you and maybe falsified documents or statements or whatever, identity, they can be kicked out of the country, I think. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that could be the case when you marry someone, but it turns out that they lied about certain things of the identity or you can go to the authorities and say, hey, I didn't know. Yeah. And like I'm wondering, like, I know this sounds silly, but it's like, were they being like it's like maybe they know people, they study people. You ever been around someone and like you can't stop thinking about them and you wonder why you're acting kind of weird around them, like you're being manipulated, controlled, and you can't stop thinking about that person, like they're using magic over you. But in this case, they're using sex magic, maybe. You know, um, yeah, that bedroom could be very manipulating, and they could make you feel certain ways. And if they are trained to do that, remember there's certain movies that talk about that use women as sex pots or honey pots to entice men, to graft on, to get to know secrets. You have people and groups that that are trained for this. Like the movie Salt, the movie Red Sparrow. Take a look at those movies, those two movies, how they utilize people to infiltrate and to get access, to get access to all types of levels of society. They hire them in the schools, the universities. They're hiring them in government. Uh, People, we gotta wake up. Do you have relatives that are somehow just got head over heels with a foreign national? They've never showed being gullible or have an infatuation that they're blinded and they just can't stop, like they're being bewitched. I mean, just start observing. Do you have a friend that met a foreign national and then they just met and, oh, we got to get married now? Oh, I can't stop thinking about this person. Oh, yeah. They may have been honeypotted and manipulation. And it seems like these groups that are popping up, since now people have social media, so all this information is coming out. I never heard of stuff like this. But now people are sharing over the internet, and so now it's like, hey, that happened to you. These type of things, people were willing to do that. I mean, we all know that that people might marry someone for citizenship. Oh yeah, I know people like that. I know people who were victimized by people who had a secret identity. They had a family hiding out, and they didn't know the American Party didn't know about it, and then they found out. Yeah, it's a reality. Yeah, people do things to stay in America, for money. And then you have those who do that because they are spies. They want to get into American government or anybody's government, blend in enough, and they're great actors and actresses, and they just blend in. They know people. They study human nature, it seems. They study you, and then they have their target. And if you ever feel that you're being manipulated by people and you don't understand it, take kind of step back a little bit and start asking yourself questions. Where did this person really come from? Who are their friends? Where did they go to school? Ask basic questions. Hey, what school you go to? Ask some basic questions. And if you keep on getting inconsistencies or evasion of the question, just kind of bow out and walk away. Yeah, you don't need that. You don't need the mind games to be placed over you. Yeah, this is really something. This espionage, this spying. It sounds like a Hollywood movie. What's that about? What is about that reality is better than fiction or something? Yeah, I'm just stunned that this woman in the Philippines fools a nation when she got caught. Yeah, they were you should vet people, you should vet who comes in your inner circle. Vet them. Are they vested? Who knows them? What school they go to? Who people in your community. If you live in a small community, you're just kind of hanging. Your community is not really thriving, and then you just get this new person who could speak your language, and they're multilingual, and they're passing as a local who's just maybe they're away for college for a little bit and coming back home. You better vest them if they're going to get into local politics. Get to know them. Get to know who they're married to. What is their inner circle? Because they could be a plant in your community, and they could be uh, enter your local politics because they want to control your government. They want to try. In the case of this lady, she was involved in the human trafficking slash slavery in those big centers, the industrial park centers, where they trap people from all over the world and force them to do online criminality and honeypotting. Yeah, they get them from all over the world and they can't escape. And they also use these people that they trap and they, what do you call it? They contact the people's family and say, you better, oh, ransom, you better pay this ransom or we'll unalive your relative. They're doing that also to collect money. This is evil. And a lot of these people, according to this video that I just watched, the lady, the YouTuber, she is from some part of Asia, East Asia or Southeast Asia. She has that phenotype. And her focus is on Asia, Asian news, but the Gothic approach to these modern news that's happening in Asia. Yeah, very interesting channel, this lady, and opening up my eyes to a reality I didn't know about. I didn't know. I went to school in America, and East Asia was the, highly favored in New York. And I saw also the past 10 years that a lot of the, where I lived in Manhattan, I lived in Midtown Manhattan, near everything. And I noticed that the trend was all these, again, I'm not, it's not an anti-Asian rant. No, 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 no. Anybody could be a criminal, but I'm just noting what the trend is and what could be doing this, what could be motivating it is to infiltrate a country, infiltrate the government, infiltrate the schools, the universities, so they can control it and control politics and things for their favor. But yeah, I started noticing the past over 10 years, I think. But basically the 10, 13 years in New York City where I lived, a growing trend that it seemed like all the young white men in who was in my area, they all seemed to be um, married to or dating East Asian looking women. Now they're very pretty, the women, but you don't see like Asian men with white women. You don't see that. But you see a lot of white men with Asian women. And you just start to, I mean, nothing wrong with that. They're very nice people. They're very nice. But I don't understand what's happening. Are they being honeypotted? Are they quiet because they don't want you to know what they're all about? Are they quiet because they're trying to get information from you? Are they presenting themselves in a mysterious way so you get trapped in their web of possible deception? Are they going out with you because they want citizenship? So then they have access to possible government jobs, jobs in the universities, jobs in scientific companies, high tech companies. What's going on? What is going on? Again, you date who you want to date. You love who you want to love. Again, it's not about being anti anything. It's about why is are certain things happening? Why is a particular trend happening? Why do they have these centers that people are tied to the human trafficking and the the money, the extortion, the things that are happening? I'm dumbfounded. I'm in shock. Yeah, people, just start asking questions. Start asking questions. It's not being a bigot or racist to ask questions. When someone a foreign national could come into a little town in the Philippines and win the mayorship of that town. And then, of course, someone's going to ask questions. Oh, wow, how did this person get into office? Oh, who is she? You're going to, natural curiosity. It wasn't because they're prejudiced about her. She looked just like everybody else in Asia. Well, her story didn't add up, and it started to cause red flags. And then she fled the Philippines, and then they caught her. Yeah, there are other things that happen all over. Remember the story some years ago? There was a lady, and she pretended she weaseled her way in the black community, black American community in America. Her parents, she started out with her parents. Her parents adopted, this is a white family, and her parents adopted some black kids, black or African kids. And then she wanted to get into this particular, she was an artist, very talented. And she wanted to get into this program. And she said that the scholarship for this program, it was designed for a black person. And here she was a white person. Well, she got offended. But she repackaged herself. She marries a black guy, a real black guy. Even has a baby with this black fellow, marries him and has a baby with him as a means to have an excuse why you're with black people, because you're married to a black man. Oh, you got your black kids to tote around. And, well, eventually, this lady, uh, she was teaching in the university. Guess what she was teaching? I mean, she did it. She was doing a good job. She's wearing black hairstyles, like weaves, like that. And she was teaching black hair care, how black people ought to care, black women ought to care for their hair type. She did a presentation in the college level. Yes, she did. And then she got into get this, people, the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, something like that it stands for. It's one of the oldest so-called black organization. But actually, I don't think that uh, organization was actually started by a black person. But either way, that is the guys, that's what it's for. But I think historically, it really didn't get opened up by a black person, an outsider who wants to influence the black community. Even some of the colleges, black colleges or historically black colleges, a lot of them were not started by black people. Okay, see that? It's a theme. It's a theme. See, when someone else starts something for you, they control it. So either way, this particular white lady with her black child toting about, she's would color her skin like wear makeup that made her skin look a little, little toasted. And then she wore these black hairstyle, weaves and things like that. And guess what? She got a job with the NAACP chapter, I think in Washington State. And then she started to allegedly send mail to her P.O. box that were racist and, anti-black, and they were threatening her to harm her. And her kids found out about it, are in terror and all that. Well, Authorities got involved, and her story didn't add up because the only people that can access a PO box was someone who worked there, and it had no stamp on it. You know, when mail is being delivered, it has to be stamped. It wasn't stamped. It was just placed in a box. Okay, and then an investigation, because see, she was trying to push the race card that people are against black people in that part of town. And there are videos of her being interviewed by a reporter, and it turned out she was a lie. She was a liar. She lied on her application. She lied about everything about her racial identity, her heritage. She even said that this particular black man was her father. And the reporter got her on tape. That was a liar. She lied. So you have outsiders that are penetrating communities, and even some white people pretending to be black or light skinned, mixed race black person, even marrying black person, having babies with this black person, and they are not black. They're raised in a completely different community, and then they had access to politics through working for the NAACP. And you know, the NAACP, I never found any video of them getting angry at this woman for deceiving them. It just looked like she charmed the pants over these guys that's supposed to be representing and protecting black interests. So go figure, people. Go figure. That particular thing happened. It was before COVID. It could have been 10 or more years ago. Oh yes, I forget her name. Yeah, just googling on. I mean, just type in on YouTube. White woman pretends to be black, working for the NAACP, and you'll probably get her. Yeah. Yeah, this it's not just Asian people that are being affected. Black people are being infiltrated. Any community can be infiltrated by outsiders with a motive, and it's always, it seems, to agitate that community or to take over government policies, politics. Be aware, people, of what could happen in your community, whether you live in America, whether you live in Asia, whether you live in Africa, whether you live in the Caribbean, whether you live in the Pacific Islands, whether you live in the Antarctic. Vast, you need to vet who these people are who are getting close in your inner circle of your community or family, people who being honeypotted by outsiders and using some type of magic, sex magic over them to make them lose their mind over you, and they can't, they just have to obey you. It sounds like a movie. It sounds like a bad movie, spy movie, but these things are happening. And you don't want it to happen to you, okay? So that's what I just wanted to share with you this morning. I have a big day today. Yeah, let me know what you think about this content, this information that I'm providing. And you could write, your comment. What maybe you have had have had things happen to you or know things. Write them below. Share that information, and yeah. Yeah, be safe, people. Be safe. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye bye.